Yeah, it's your boy King L, baby. Dropping knowledge all day. Let me put this down. Um, we're gonna get into this segment on how to read the 14th Amendment, understanding that all of this stuff, like this is what you got to understand about the history of everything in military operations. They wrote everything in code. So they wrote it, it has to be decoded. So it's called Legal East. And understand it's written, it's a coded language. It's a coded language. It's a coded language. Legalese is a coded language. They call them statutes because back in the days they hid things in statutes. It's military operations is written in code, statutes and codes. So understanding the 14th Amendment is very important to your growth and development as it relates to your status and relationship with everything. So let me share this understanding the 14th Amendment. We're going to share the screen and break this down. So we're going to look at this word. So you can look this up and you can understand. We talk about the battle of the forms. When they talk about this, we're talking about um, the jurisdiction as it relates to this. And you have to understand what is a form and how this relate. And you got to cross. That's why I say you got to know how to read stuff and understand form. So it says all persons born. So you can say all corporations formed. We know that persons is some form of corporation. So you can take that in. It says all corporations formed or what? Incorporated, naturalized, contract, incorporated in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, consented to the jurisdiction thereof. So all persons born or incorporated in the United States and consented. What do they tell you about? It's only you can't do involuntary slavery. So you, in order to be a subject, you have to have voluntary consent. All you got to do is start understanding this stuff is written in code and breaking it down. Okay, to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Okay, we know the United States is a corporation or citizens of the corporation, right? What do we call citizens, right? What is a citizen as it relates to this subject matter? Or corporations of the United States or corporations of the parent company, right? And of the state where they reside, right? You got to understand how this is. Or corporations, because all persons, right, is citizens. All persons are citizens. So if all corporations are citizens of the United States and of the state where they reside, so all persons formed or incorporated in the United States. I want y'all to go over this. All persons formed or incorporated in the United States and subject or what? Consented to the jurisdiction thereof. Because you can't have involuntary servitude, so it has to be voluntary, right? Or citizens or corporations of the United States and of the state where they reside. No state shall make or enforce law which shall abridge the privileges. Now, exemptions. I want y'all to understand you can put in exemptions of corporations of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any corporation of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any corporation within its jurisdiction the equal protection of law. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Let me look up. Let me look up some stuff. So let's go to immunity. First definition of immunity is exemption. That's the first definition, then comma. Immunity is an exemption, right? So let's look at this again. All persons, all corporations formed or incorporated in the United States and consented to the jurisdiction thereof, or corporations of the United States, because the United States ain't nothing but a corporation, and of the state where they reside. No state shall make or enforce any laws which shall abridge the privileges or exemptions of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any corporation of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So, what is they talking about? No state, it says, nor shall any state deprive any corporation of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. What are they talking about? Life, when we talk about corporations. A corporation have a right of existence. They can't dissolve a corporation without the consent of the person who incorporated. So they can't. So if you go down to the county recorder's office, once you put something in the county recorder office, you the only one that can remove it. They cannot remove the property from there. They don't have a right to do that. Liberty, okay, what do they mean? They can't stop the corporation from its existence, or doing what? When they say liberty as it relates to corporation, what do you think the liberty is? Right? To carry on trade or business in the United States. That's the liberty. Because they're corporations, that's the only thing they have liberty to do is trade and business, commerce, or property without due process of law. Nor state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So they're acting as trustee over the corporation. I told y'all this stuff ain't nothing but trust law. A LLC ain't nothing but really a trust. All these documents ain't nothing but trust for real. They just call them different names. So when you put in the motion to move the judge as trustee, he has to understand the 14th Amendment on this principle that we're dealing with corporations and business. This is how you get the corporation and your business. You need to understand how this stuff works. Right. You got to understand. Nor deny to any corporation within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. So I did a video why you think they call you black, because they identifying you as what? A pirate. Let me see if I can pull that up. I told y'all before, we dealing in Admiralty Maritime. We talking about contract law and vessels, right? Law of the sea. As it relates to interstate and intrastate, we talking about moving, we talking about vessels. So the law of the flag, right, as it relates to being black, a black flag, a pirate was saying that his ship was a death ship, right? It's a death ship. The red flag comes to means no quarters giving, meaning that no mercy would be shown or no life would be spared. While a black flag usually meant those who surrender without a fight would be allowed to live. Black flag. Let's go to the white flag. Hold on. White flag. Oh, let's go to the white flag. White flag. The white flag, right, is an international recognized protected sign of truce. I told y'all we dealing in interstate commerce and and, and intrastate. Ceasefire. A white flag signifies to all that approach negotiators is unarmed with the intent to surrender or a desire to communicate. Carrying or waving a white flag are not to be fired upon, nor are they allowed to open fire. So we're talking about corporations. We're not talking about natural persons. We're not talking about, don't even say natural persons, because a natural person is a sole proprietor. So you got to understand the terms. You got to go through and look at these terms and connect the dots. That's why they written a code. The legalese is a coded language. You have to know the codes. You have to know the codes or counsel. If a counsel don't know the codes, he's ineffective in his counseling. He's ineffective in his counseling. He needs to know the code. That's why they call codes. It's written in code, right? Let's go break this down. So let's go back to the 14th Amendment. Immunity is exemption. So when we talk about privilege, I want you to talk about immunities. It says abridge the privileges or exemptions of citizens of the United States. So if you got a religious exemption, what does that mean? You have to be excused. You got to spell out what and how to go about moving within your religious exemption. So if you're going to set up your corporation, understand how to set it up. Understand how to contract. Understand what the contract is all about. Understand contract. United States dealing contracts. So when we talk about voluntary consent, you have to consent in such a way where your contract can be enforced because they're acting as trustees over these contracts. And they got to give you equal protection. What do they mean by equal protection as it relates to equity in a jurisdiction? If the contract make the law, right, all judges are bound to abide by the contract. They got to be, so they got to give you the same equal protection in all cases. It's about presentments and representments. The original contract is the presentment. And then what you do is represent the contract, enforce the contract. Y'all guys making this more than what it need to be. I told y'all don't understand what this is. So a lot of y'all want to just be bankers and don't understand this. So I don't want to play the banker game. So this is your boy King L Bay signing out on this video, and I'm just gonna break it down for you and let you see and hear how this stuff works. I'm out. Peace and love, everybody. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I am so out of here.